Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 12월 16일 월요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. We kick off another great week with great plans ahead as we approach the year end. And most surely many have already started the day with a cup of steaming coffee in their hands. But there are also those who start their day with the opposite. A cold, chilled ice beverage. 여러분 혹시 얼죽아라는 표현 들어보셨나요? 얼어 죽어도 아이스 음료라는 말을 줄인 것이라는데요. 추운 겨울에도 무조건 찬 음료를 찾는 사람을 뜻합니다. 하지만 겨울에 찬 음료를 즐기는 것이 치아 건강에는 좋지 않을 수 있다고 합니다. 아무리 단단한 치아라도 수십 도에 달하는 온도 변화에는 충격과 스트레스를 받기 쉽기 때문인데요. 마찬가지로 양치를 할 때도 차가운 물보다는 가능한 미지근한 물로 하는 것이 좋다고 하네요. Although at times a cup of iced coffee might seem like the right way to kickstart a day, we should place more emphasis on what our body needs. And with that in mind, here's a quiz question. Which of the following shouldn't be enjoyed cold? 1번 아이스크림, 2번 갈비탕, 3번 오렌지 주스. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 뉴욕타임스 1개월 구독권 보내드리겠습니다. I mean, you could have this cold if you really, really wanted to, but you shouldn't. What is the answer? 차갑게 먹는 것이 좋지 않은 것을 골라주시면 되겠습니다. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
The United States and China have agreed to a Phase 1 trade deal.
지난 주말 미국과 중국이 1단계 무역협정에 합의했습니다.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson will retain power after his Conservative Party secured a landslide victory in the recent general election.
영국 총선에서 보리스 존슨 총리가 이끄는 보수당이 압승을 거두며 재집권에 성공했습니다.
The death toll from the eruption of New Zealand's White Island volcano has increased to 16.
뉴질랜드 화이트섬 화산 참사로 인한 사망자 수가 16명으로 늘어났습니다.
From next year, Swiss federal employees will be obliged to take the train instead of airplanes for journeys shorter than 6 hours.
스위스가 이산화탄소 배출 감축을 위해 내년부터 공무원이 6시간 미만의 출장을 갈 경우 비행기 대신 기차 사용을 의무화하기로 했습니다.
The Thai government has announced it would submit the traditional Thai New Year festival or Songkran to the list next year.
태국 정부가 물뿌리기로 널리 알려진 전통 신년 축제 송크란의 유네스코 인증을 추진하기로 했습니다. Well, for the headlines and more this morning, Steve is back.
Hey, hey.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sue. Good morning to our team. Good morning to our listeners.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Great to have you back.
How was the week?
It was all right. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Karen and Devin for filling in for Steve last week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karen and Devin. Also, I'm sorry that I missed Walter Sem. He was here one day. I saw a photo.
On Tuesday.
You had a great time hanging out without me. What are you talking about?
We really did, Steve, so goodbye.
Right.
No, it's great to have you back. How was your vacation?
It was really wonderful. You know, I had made the point of going to a new place this time because I had traveled to other locations in Southeast Asia and I had never been to Vietnam. So I stayed at a resort for a couple of days near Nha Trang.
This is the picture you sent in.
Well, I'm going to talk about this one in just a second.
Okay.
So I did the resort thing. So that was the beach, relaxing. And then I went to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City for the last 3 days of the trip. And if you haven't been to Saigon before, it's a really cool place. There are trees everywhere. It's such a green city. It's gorgeous. Everybody's on a scooter because scooters are much cheaper than cars are.
Right.
So there's something like 8 million scooters in the city.
Oh my goodness.
It is the main transport. And the food, Sue, everyone, please go to Saigon just for the food. If for no other reason, just for the food.
Wow,
and
is it that good?
I'll recommend one place to you.
Yes.
So can we back up just a couple of places?
뒤로 한번 갈 수 있을까요?
Yeah, so
아까 사진.
this one. So Anthony Bourdain, you know Anthony Bourdain? Anthony Bourdain did this show many years ago where he covered this cook, this chef in Saigon called the Lunch Lady. And she's in District 1 of the city. And she just has this little kind of street food cart set up with plastic chairs and plastic tables. And you can see on the Poinen radio right now, there's the banner up. That's her, by the way, in the photo. She's called the Lunch Lady.
Is she still with us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's there.
Oh,
if you look very closely in the picture, you can see her back there. She's not the friendliest person you'll ever meet, but she's busy. So we'll go to the next picture now, if you don't mind. And there's the full table. So the way it works is you order your soup, but then they put the side dishes on the table, right? The fried dough, the spring rolls. You can see the spring rolls. If you want them, you can eat them. If you don't have to. But if you eat them, you pay more. That's how the banchan works.
반찬 먹으면은 돈을 지불하고 안 먹게 되면 돈을 지불하지 않아도 돼요. 근데 어쨌든 식탁 위에는 올라가 있네요.
Yeah. Now let's focus in on the soup, if we can, for the final picture, please.
네, 마지막 사진 한번 보겠습니다.
Look at that. Look at that.
그렇게 맛있었어요?
That's the best soup I've ever had in my life.
와우.
Yeah. So if you go to Saigon, you have to go to the Lunch Lady.
스티브 선생님이 아까 생방송 하기 전에 이번에 best soup in the world, best sandwich in the world.
The banh mi. The banh mi is amazing.
너무너무 좋았다고 얘기를 하셨어요. 와, 저 굉장히 부럽습니다, 지금.
Yeah.
자, 여러분들께서 지금 인사 메시지를 보내주셔서요. 몇 개 읽어드릴게요. 이정옥 님이 안녕하세요. 수진 선생님. 즐거운 월요일입니다. 모두의 모스와 함께 힘차게 달려봅시다 하셨고요. 네, 이정옥 님도 화이팅 하시고요. 미미무 님이요. Steve Sam, welcome back. I missed you. I mean, we missed you.
Thank you. I missed you guys too.
반미진 님이요. 오, Steve Sam 하셨습니다.
갔다 왔죠.
그렇습니다. It's wonderful. Really, really wonderful to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. And again, thank you to Karen and Devin for filling in. And I'm sorry I missed Walter that one day that he was here.
Well, he's back in Canada. We'll have to have
Already,
him.
huh?
I know, he is. Okay, well, if you'd like to listen to the headlines that we read just a few minutes ago, you can do so by going to our website. 조금 전에 읽어드린 헤드라인은 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지에서 다시 확인하실 수 있습니다. Let's go over the story, Steve.
Headline number 1. Today, the United States and China have agreed to a Phase 1 trade deal.
지난 주말 미국과 중국이 1단계 무역 협정에 합의했습니다.
So following this agreement of this, what they call Phase 1 trade deal on Friday, China has suspended additional tariffs on some U.S. goods that were supposed to be implemented on December 15th. That would have been yesterday, and that is according to the State Council's Customs Tariff Commission. The deal, the rumors, and the leaks over which have affected the world markets for months now. It reduced some U.S. tariffs in exchange for what officials said would be a big jump in Chinese purchases of American farm products and other goods as well.
Finally, a move ahead.
Yes.
추가 관세 부과가 보류됐다라는 소식입니다. And this is back and forth. The US has stepped back a bit. China has also stepped back, and they are, as I just said, moving forward.
The deal means that the targeted goods from corn to wheat to U.S. Made vehicles and auto parts, those were the tariffs that were supposed to be on those goods as of yesterday. Those will not be taking place. Other Chinese tariffs that would have already been implemented, though, will be left in place. So if they were going to be there, they will be left there on other U.S. goods. But Beijing has agreed to import at least $200 billion worth in additional U.S. goods and services over the next 2 years on top of the amount that it purchased back in 2017. And China will increase U.S. farm purchases by $32 billion over the next 2 years.
네, 그동안에는 계속해서 미국과 중국이 tit for tat처럼 이제 관세를 부과하고 고율 관세를 더 부과하겠다라는 얘기를 했었었는데요. 어제, 그러니까 미국 시간으로는 오늘이죠. 현지 시간 15일 추가로 부과하려고 했던 관세를 보류한다라고 미국도 중국도 밝혔습니다. In fact, China has said that they hope for some stable development when it comes to the trade talks.
Yes, absolutely. And also as part of this deal, President Trump, he shelved plans or canceled plans to impose new tariffs on $160 billion of Chinese smartphones, electronics, and other goods that had been set to take effect yesterday as well. He also cut tariffs to 7.5%, down from 15% on another $120 billion worth of Chinese goods.
네, 굉장히 좋은 표현 나왔네요. Shelve plans 그러면 어떤 계획을 보류하다라는 뜻이 있습니다. Alright, leaving that story there, let's go over to the UK for headline number 2.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson will retain power after his Conservative Party secured a landslide victory in the recent general election.
영국 총선에서 보리스 존슨 총리가 이끄는 보수당이 압승을 거두며 재집권에 성공했습니다.
So the Conservatives now have 365 parliamentary seats. That's a majority of 80 in the House of Commons. That result proved even more divisive than what they had forecast in terms of the election results. At an election victory celebration in central London, Boris Johnson told the audience that the country will now leave the EU on January 31st of next year.
The reason Boris Johnson wanted to have this general election in the first place was because he wanted to have a majority in the parliament. Some people said, you know, it was sort of a 50-50, if you will. It could work, or he could just lose, and it would be a devastating blow. But he won.
We've talked about this story at length on this show. And yeah, when the announcement came that the general elections were going to happen, the only information that we could find was, majority, no majority, not really sure. Yeah. This was an overwhelming majority. And Jeremy Corbyn announced, he was the opposition leader, the Labour Party leader, he announced that he will not be leading the UK's opposition Labour Party in future elections. He called it a very disappointing night.
For the Labour Party, it was the worst blow since 1935 in terms of the figures, how many seats they had in the parliament. And for the Tories, of course, Boris Johnson's party there, that was the best turnout, or I should say the results of the election since 1987, since Margaret Thatcher, I believe. So very, very good turnout for him. In fact, it was the first time in about 100 years that a December general election had taken place. So lots of firsts here.
This is the only story from the last week that I'm very familiar with because my hotel TV in Saigon was stuck on the BBC, and this is all they talked about.
Okay.
So I heard Jeremy Corbyn speaking a lot about how disappointing it was. Moving forward, analysts at a group called Citi, they said that the large majority would give Boris Johnson the scope or the power to shape Brexit in a softer or harder direction, depending on how he wants to go with it. But Anatoly Kaletsky, who is a chief economist and co-chairman of something called Gavakel Dragonomics, said that the election results was a big surprise and it creates a lot of assets for British assets coming up in the next couple of years. The pound, for example, British property or British domestic stocks.
네, 이번에 영국 하원 의석수가 이제 총 650석인데요. 이번 총선 결과에 의하면은 보수당이 365석을 차지했습니다. 과반은 326석 이상이어야 되는 거였는데 그거를 훨씬 넘은 365석을 확보했고요. 제1야당인 노동당은 203석에 그쳤습니다. 그래서 사실 1935년 이후 노동당 같은 경우는 최악의 패배다라고 외신은 전하고 있는데요. 이제 앞으로는 브렉시트가 교착 상태에 빠져 있었지만 그것이 해소될 수 있을 것으로 그렇게 기대가 됩니다. 1월 말에 브렉시트 단행이 가능할 것으로 보입니다. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3 this morning. The death toll from the eruption of New Zealand's White Island volcano has increased to 16.
뉴질랜드 화이트섬 화산 참사로 인한 사망자 수가 16명으로 늘어났습니다.
So the death toll rose after police said a 16th victim died at Sydney's Concord Hospital, one of several hospitals in Australia, which treated survivors for very severe burns. Most of those who were killed after the White Island volcano erupted earlier in the week were tourists. Divers failed to locate the bodies of 2 victims off the island, but New Zealand Police National Operations Commander, his name is John Timms. He said that the search will continue.
I remember last week when we first covered this news, this was an active volcano, but a beautiful site in New Zealand. So people had traveled to the area by ferry, and then it exploded all of a sudden, and the people that died of 90 to 95 degree burns. So that's just all over the body. The initial count for the deaths was 6, and then it went up to 8, and now we're looking at 16.
This was a story, and again, my television was stuck on the BBC, and they were covering the election
well.
result. Well, they were covering this a little bit, but
I
not
see.
as much as the election. So I need your help getting caught up with this.
Sure.
So this is a regular vacation destination, or this was a privately owned island?
Privately owned island.
So these were people that were invited to go there, or tour companies take people
I
there?
believe that tour companies take them there. It wasn't a hugely populated island because it's very small, but it's privately owned as I understand it, if I'm not wrong. And so private tours as well took place here.
I see.
But apparently some people traveled individually as well. I guess you could do that as soon as you got to the island if you got some sort of permission there. It was fine, and there weren't a huge number of tourists to begin with.
And the eruption itself was an absolute surprise. Seismologists or geologists had not predicted this at all?
Well, I can't say at all because there were some articles that said that experts had warned that there was some action within the volcano. And they can't exactly say, on this date it will erupt. But they did say, I think it was 1 week prior or a few weeks prior, that there has been some action within the volcano. And that obviously could mean it could or it might not explode.
And I heard there was a chance of a re-eruption. That's when I was away. Yeah. Anyway, the search teams, they were wearing heavy protective clothing due to the toxic air and gases present on the island as a result of that eruption. And their breathing apparatuses, in terms of this search, allowed them to only search for 75 minutes. But according to John Timms, the gentleman that I mentioned a little while ago, he said that we have always anticipated recovering all bodies from the island, and we remain deeply committed to that goal to allow families some closure.
네, 그렇습니다. 지난주에 저희가 한 8명 정도가 사망했다라는 소식까지는 전해드렸었는데 그 사이에 이 숫자가 올라가서 이제 사망자 수가 16명으로 늘어났습니다. 아직 실종자 수도 몇 명 있어요. 그런데 좀 조심스럽게 외신에서는 살아있을 가능성이 높지 않다 이렇게 보도를 하고 있고 그럼에도 불구하고 뉴질랜드 측에서는 끝까지 찾도록 하겠다. 실종자들의 수색 작업이 진행 중이다 이렇게 얘기를 했고요. 가장 최근에 사망한 관광객 같은 경우에는 호주에서 치료를 받던 중에 사망한 것으로 전해졌습니다. Let's go on to headline number 4.
From next year, Swiss federal employees will be obliged to take the train instead of airplanes for journeys shorter than 6 hours.
스위스가 이산화탄소 배출 감축을 위해 내년부터 공무원이 6시간 미만의 출장을 갈 때 비행기 대신 기차 사용을 의무화하기로 했습니다.
So this happened on Friday. The Swiss government approved its action plan for air travel by their bureaucrats. The goal is to reduce CO2 emissions from air travel by federal government employees by 30% by the year 2030.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 한마디로 비행기는 훨씬 이산화탄소 배출량이 많잖아요. 그래서 이런 비행기 사용을 줄이기 위한 하나의 방안으로 일정 시간 미만의 출장을 할 때는 기차를 타라 이러는 것이죠.
Exactly. So if the travel times are shorter than 6 hours, federal employees, they will have to take the train instead of a plane. And there will be a list of train-only destinations that will be drawn up. And also perks for those flying, perks or advantages for those flying will be reduced. For example, business class flights, they will only be approved if a direct flight is 9 hours or more, or a flight has a stopover that has 11 hours or more. And also, fewer people will fly to international conferences, so that means that the size of delegations will be as small as possible, and these measures will be implemented from mid-2020.
네, 그렇습니다. 구체적인 사안들은 이제 조만간에 목록으로 작성이 돼서 발표될 예정이고요. 거기에는 어떤 도시로 출장을 갈 때 반드시 기차를 타야 하는지, 그 다음에는 비즈니스석으로 만약에 업그레이드를 해서 가고 싶을 경우에는 뭐 몇 시간 이상의 그런 그 이동 시간이 해당이 돼야 되는지 등등이 나열될 전망입니다.
It's obviously very good for the planet, but I wonder about the individual responses from those government employees. Maybe not the best news for them, right?
Well, let's go on to our final headline now.
This is interesting news as well. The Thai government has announced that it would submit the traditional Thai New Year festival, or Songkran, to the list next year.
태국 정부가 물뿌리기로 널리 알려진 전통 신년 축제 송크란의 유네스코 인증을 추진하기로 했습니다.
So this celebration, I wasn't familiar with it before I heard about this story. Songkran, though, involves days, not hours, days of rowdy water fights. And it will now make the list with the Chinese government because the southern region of China, they have a similar tradition as well. So this is going to be a joint submission, I think. Similar to Thailand, this group in China, the Dai ethnic group, that's in one of their prefectures, they celebrate New Year in mid-April, and they put water on each other as well for good luck. And the Dai are believed to be very closely related to the Thais, who know them as Thai.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We have the video, some footage going out on our 보이는 라디오 right now as we speak. Lots of people just pouring water. Apparently this is for good luck.
Yeah, even in the video we're seeing, I don't know if that's a tourist or a member of the expat community, but it looks like a lot of fun for everyone, huh?
Indeed. They even have machines pouring water on the streets.
Yeah, they have something here in Seoul, but I think it's just for fun, right? They do it in the Yonsei area, I think, where they close off that street in Shincheon, and it's just a water fight day. It's not meant for good fortune in the new year or anything like that, but it looks kind of similar.
그렇군요. 이제 태국에서만 하던 이런 신년 축제인데 이것을 유네스코 인증을 받기 위해서 이제 노력을 하고 있다라는 모습이고 지금 스티브 선생님이 설명해 주신 것처럼 사실은 태국 그다음에는 중국의 일부 지역에서도 굉장히 비슷한 그런 전통을 가지고 있다고 합니다. So hopefully it will be in the UNESCO list next year.
Yep, that's right. And other countries too, because they have similar festivals. For example, in Laos and Cambodia, they are going to be invited to jointly submit too. And this is fun for Thailand because on Friday, the UN's cultural body, they recognized Thai massage as something to be preserved for future generations too.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those were our headlines for today. 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지에 들어가셔서요. 헤드라인 다시 듣기 통해서 다시 들으실 수 있습니다. Steve, could you remind our listeners of the quiz again?
Yes, okay. So the question is food related this morning. Which of the following should not be enjoyed cold? Is it number 1, ice cream, number 2, galbitang, or number 3, orange juice? Now, you can eat any of these things cold if you want, but the point of the question is, which of the following should not be enjoyed cold? Number 1, ice cream. Number 2, galbitang. Number 3, orange juice.
네, 정답 아시는 분들은 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 뉴욕타임스 1개월 구독권 보내드리겠습니다. 국순혜 님이요. 두 분 선생님 다시 드림팀이 되었네요 하셨어요. Thank you.
That's nice.
Glad you feel that way. All right, we're going to listen to a song and when we come back we'll look at more of your messages and news focus. 1, 2, and 3. Here's Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, This Time. 방금 전에 들으신 곡은요. This Time, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers의 노래였습니다. 스티브 선생님이 돌아오셨어요. 0826님이 다른 생각하고 있다가 스티브 선생님 목소리 듣자마자 정신이 번쩍 들면서 웃음이 났어요. 스티브 쌤 목소리에는 기분 좋은 에너지가 가득해요. Good morning and welcome back.
Oh, thank you. What a nice compliment, huh?
Yeah, it's true. There's something about your voice. It just exudes energy and positivity.
Well, if you're not watching Pointen Radio, you cannot see the smile that is on my face right now. Thank you.
Beaming right now. 김아렴님이요. 선생님들 안녕하세요. 지난번에 IELTS 시험 처음 쳤다고 사연을 보냈었죠. 지난 토요일에 결과가 나왔어요. 두둥두둥. 이번 시험에 다행히 원하는 점수를 받았습니다. 다시는 치고 싶지 않았는데 다행이죠. 크크크 모스 덕분입니다 하셨어요.
Oh, the IELTS.
Yeah, she got the result she wanted.
That's one of the more difficult English tests, is it not?
That's the British equivalent of the, I suppose, TOEIC or TOEFL.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Indeed. It's a very long exam and they go through every single part, you know, listening, speaking, writing and all of that in a very sort of long manner.
Yeah,
if you
long
will.
form.
Long, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a great exam, I think. And this listener did very well.
Wonderful.
So congratulations. Yeah. 저희도 너무 기쁩니다. Why don't you keep sending in your messages and hopefully we'll have more of your support and greetings. If you have questions as well, ask those.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure. What's your question?
What's the date? 16th? That
Yes.
means 7, 8, 9, 9 more days.
Till Christmas.
Till Santa Claus comes.
그러네요.
When you're in Vietnam and the weather is 32 degrees, humble brag, you don't think about Christmas very much. But when I got off the plane last night and I got to my car, I realized, yes, it is winter time.
It's cold.
You know what, though? I went home and I plugged in my Christmas tree so the lights were on again, and suddenly that Christmassy feeling, the holiday spirit came back. Yeah.
That's good. Keep sending in your pictures as well, because our listeners last week, they sent in pictures day after day, and it's sort of like a month-long mission now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Keep sending in your Christmas pictures
Please
too.
do, yeah. But a side note, sorry for being too chatty,
No,
but
no.
are we going to have our own Christmas tree
I
in
don't
here?
know. Maybe we should get one.
Well, in Umyeondong many years ago, Paul, PD님, 차장님, we had our own Christmas tree.
어딨나요? EBS Christmas tree.
그러니까요. 이사했을 때 you lost the
있었어요?
Christmas. Did we
우면동에
lose it?
놓고 왔나요?
Yeah, it's huge. The Umyeondong Christmas tree was like this 6-foot tall Christmas tree.
선생님이 트리 한번 해주시죠. 키 크신데.
Yeah, we have it somewhere.
It's somewhere, yeah. All right. Apparently, Paul says we have a palm tree, but yeah, no, we won't need a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah, there's other plants around, I guess.
All right. So keep sending in your messages. We have 5 New York Times 1-month subscriptions to give out during the first hour. 자, 그러면은요, 뉴스 포커스 보도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 스웨덴 출신 환경운동가 그레타 툰베리는 올해 16세에 불과한 소녀지만 미국 타임지가 선정한 올해의 인물에 선정되며 당당히 타임지의 표지를 장식했습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Greta Thunberg was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2019 and is the youngest person to have ever received the accolade. Thunberg, 16, was lauded by Time for starting an environmental campaign in August of 2018, camping out in front of the Swedish parliament to demand action. The activist addressed the latest round of UN climate talks in Madrid, bluntly criticizing world leaders for using PR to make it appear they are achieving bold climate targets. Other nominees for Person of the Year included Donald Trump and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the top Democrat in Congress.
네, 워싱턴 포스트 기사에 보면은 이렇게 툰베리가 단시간에 유명해진 이유를 3가지로 꼽았더라고요. 첫 번째는 타이밍입니다. The timing of when she started these Friday protests was around the same time the US decided to pull out of that global climate agreement. And so people were all focused on climate issues and why, you know, one of the biggest players in the world had decided to step out. And then we had Greta saying, you know, I'm 16 years old, I'm young, but I am going to fight for climate. So the first thing was excellent timing.
The other thing I think that helped keep her in the news, keep the issue in the news was, yes, she was protesting on her own, and then it became a bigger thing, and then she went to New York. And then there was kind of the snubbing, I don't know how to say snubbing in Korean, by Donald Trump, and that famous picture.
맞아요. 그 사진도 한몫했죠.
Right?
이렇게 딱 노려보는 이 사진이 굉장히 또
And for
화제가 됐습니다.
for me personally, that's when it really kicked off.
그래요.
Yeah.
그다음에 이제 두 번째 이유로는 이 그레타 툰베리가 쓰는 그 간단명료한 연설법. She doesn't use difficult words. Her sentences are very short and concise and to the point. So the way she speaks, people say, is another reason that she was able to get to where she is right now. And the third point is her great use of social media.
Yeah.
그래서 소셜미디어, SNS를 통해서 굉장히 사람들과 소통을 많이 잘 하면서 그 활용을 잘했다. 이 세 가지 이유를 꼽더라고요.
It's going to be very interesting to see because she has really dominated headlines, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to climate change in 2019, when we talk climate change, we talk Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see where she goes and what happens in 2020 with adjustment. I mean, we just did a story about the Swiss government adjusting their bureaucrats' travel schedules. So it seems like it's on people's minds more and more.
Definitely.
And obviously, Time magazine thinks Greta Thunberg is to thank for that.
Yes. Why don't we look at one expression from this article? Which one should we
Sure.
look at?
Let's do camp out then, shall
Okay.
we? When this all started back in August of 2018, Greta Thunberg camped out in front of the Swedish parliament to demand action. So when you are camping out somewhere, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to actually be camping. And that's why this is a confusing sentence.
Yep.
It simply means to wait for a long time in one location for some reason. I'll give you an example. Sometimes, do you know what a sneakerhead is?
No.
A sneakerhead is a person who loves and collects sneakers. So sometimes when a shoe company releases a new shoe, the person will camp out in front of the store. And that may mean they get a tent and wait there for a long time to buy the shoes, or it may mean that they just simply go there and wait for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. The time is relative. But the point is, you're waiting for a long time in one location for a specific reason.
네, 캠프 아웃 그러면은 캠핑을 한다라는 뜻은 아니고요. 실제로 텐트를 가져갈 수도 있고 안 가져갈 수도 있지만 여기서의 중요한 포인트는 진을 치다 이런 뜻입니다. 그래서 어딘가에서 오랜 시간 기다린다라는 의미를 가지고 있어요. 아까 말했던 그 스니커 헤드 그러면은 운동화를 아주 좋아하는 그 매니아층을 말하는데 그런 분들은 보통 뭐 운동화 만드는 컴퍼니 밖에 회사 밖에서 진을 치고 기다리면서 이제 새로운 운동화가 출시된다는 소식에 바로 달려간다 이런 예를 지금 스티브 선생님이 들어주셨어요.
Or concert tickets if your favorite band is playing.
BTS.
Yeah, you might wait for days in front of the ticket booth. We call that camping out.
Indeed. Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
Greta Thunberg was named Time magazine's Person of the Year for 2019 and is the youngest person to have ever received the accolade. Thunberg, 16, was lauded by Time for starting an environmental campaign in August of 2018, camping out in front of the Swedish parliament to demand action. The activists addressed the latest round of UN climate talks in Madrid, bluntly criticizing world leaders for using PR to make it appear they are achieving bold climate targets. Other nominees for Person of the Year included Donald Trump and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the top Democrat in Congress.
Well, talking about Greta Thunberg's great usage of the social media platform, our next story is related to social media. 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 영국 왕실이 엘리자베스 2세 여왕의 트위터와 인스타그램 등 소셜미디어를 관리할 전문가를 찾는다는 구인 광고를 냈습니다. Let's listen to the story.
The British royal family is recruiting a new social media maven to run the family's accounts according to a new job description. The ad, which has already prompted more than 200 people to apply, promises $60,000 to $66,700 a year and describes the position as overseeing the royal family social media accounts, developing digital strategies, and managing a small team of digital media specialists. Other benefits include free lunch and 33 vacation days.
네. I wonder if any of our listeners would be interested in applying for this job. It sounds like a good job.
Well, the pay is good. $60,000 to $66,000 a year. That's all right.
And a vacation.
And a free lunch.
와우, 그렇습니다. 여왕의 소셜미디어 계정을 관리할 전문가를 선정한다고 하는데요. 벌써 200명 이상 지원을 했다고 하죠. Yeah.
It's cute, isn't it?
It is.
The Queen. I mean, we have Donald Trump in the United States tweeting. I think he just tweeted right now, probably.
Yeah, very likely.
Every 5 minutes or so. And the Queen now, she thinks, no, we need some help. Let's hire someone to take care of this for us, yeah?
So more than 200 people have already applied.
Yeah, and the advertisement prompted those people to apply. A prompts B. Prompt spelling Prompt. The spelling or the pronunciation is a little bit different, difficult. Prompt. So it causes one thing causes another when A prompts B. If you go to the doctor and the visit to the doctor is A, and the doctor has some news, right? It's bad news for your health. So you change your diet. B. So the trip to the doctor, A, decides B. A prompts B. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I was unhealthy, and that prompted me to change my diet.
네, A prompt someone to do B.
Yeah.
이렇게 얘기를 하면은 A로 하여금 누군가가 B를 하게 하게 한다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 조금 긴 구조인데요. 여기서는 the ad prompted 200 people to apply.
Exactly.
그러니까 이 광고가 벌써 한 200명 정도로 하여금 지원하게끔 했다. 이런 겁니다. Yeah, I'm not one of them, but I'm very interested to find out who's going to get this job.
Yeah, exactly. And this person will be overseeing the royal family's social media accounts. And if you are overseeing something, it implies that you kind of are the boss. You are in charge. Our producers and our 부장님 oversee Morning Special. You and I, we are on the show, but we don't oversee the show.
No.
If you imagine one person, the manager or the boss, looking out the window, and on the down below, you see all the staff and all the things going on. You're literally overseeing. You're looking from above. But this is a figurative expression that implies the same thing.
네, 그렇습니다. oversee라는 두 단어가 합쳐져서 감독하다라는 의미의 한 단어가 된 건데요. 위에서 아래를 이렇게 내려다본다라는 그런 어원이 있어요. 그래서 뭔가 지휘하다, 감독하다 이런 의미가 있습니다. Maybe you could say that our producer could oversee our show even from overseas.
Overseeing from overseas. Very good.
Two same pronunciations, different words. The spelling, of course, in this case is double E at the end. All right.
I suppose you could oversee overseas operations.
아, 그러네요.
Right?
어떤 해외 업무를 관리 감독하다라고 하면 I oversee overseas EAS operations.
Yeah, that's a tricky business title, isn't it?
네, 해외를 뜻하는 oversee와 관리 감독하다를 뜻하는 oversee는 스펠링이 좀 다릅니다. 다시 한번 뉴스를 들어보도록 할게요.
The British royal family is recruiting a new social media maven to run the family's accounts according to a new job description. The ad, which has already prompted more than 200 people to apply, promises $60,000 to $66,700 a year and describes the position as overseeing the royal family's social media accounts, developing digital strategies, and managing a small team of digital media specialists. Other benefits include free lunch and 33 vacation days.
Let's remind our listeners of the quiz again.
Quiz question this morning. Which of the following shouldn't or should not be enjoyed cold. Number 1, ice cream. Number 2, 갈비탕. Number 3, orange juice.
네, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 뉴욕타임즈 1개월 구독권 보내드릴게요. 영국 가수이자 배우인 Keira Knightley의 목소리로 Tell Me If You Wanna Go Home 듣고 세 번째 뉴스 포커스 살펴보겠습니다. 자, 다음 뉴스 포커스 살펴보겠습니다. 지금 세계 최초의 3D 프린팅 주택단지가 멕시코에서 건설 중인데요. 집 한 채를 짓는데 단 24시간이면 된다고 하네요. 열악한 주거 환경에서 살고 있는 전 세계 많은 이들에게 경제적이고 효율적인 대안이 될지 주목받고 있습니다. Let's listen to the story.
A 3D printed community is sprouting up in Mexico, part of a project working to end global homelessness. New Story, which builds shelter for families in need, says that after 18 months of planning, 2 homes have been completed. The nonprofit has plans to build 50 500-square-foot 3D homes in Tabasco, Mexico, which is located in a seismic zone and prone to flooding. The 3D printed homes have 2 bedrooms, a living room, kitchen, and bath. Each of the 2 homes that have been built took 24 hours to print.
It's also very affordable, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's so cool. You know, I don't remember exactly when the 3D printing thing started, but then we heard about small little items you could print.
Yeah.
And people thought, oh, okay, that's cool. Now we have the ability to print homes, and we have the ability to print homes very quickly.
Indeed.
Only 24 hours.
If you'd like to know what one of these homes look like, go to our 보이는 라디오 right now. 지금 보이는 라디오에 띄워드린 이겁니다. 한 24시간이면 지을 수 있고요. 우리 돈으로 한 채당 한 470만 원 정도가 든다고 해요. So that's very affordable indeed.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the homes look really nice on the inside. They're well designed. They are also designed to last for generations.
Yeah.
So they won't break down. They will be there for a very, very long time.
Still for me, the whole concept of 3D printing is just mind-blowing because
Yeah.
I think of the conventional printing, which is, you know, a printer. And
Yeah.
But then look at this. Oh my goodness. Amazing.
Yep. And this is all done to fight global homelessness. A wonderful cause.
네, 그렇습니다. 특히 이렇게 남미 지역이라든지 생계를 유지하는데 좀 많은 어려움을 겪고 있는 그런 분들에게는 너무나 좋은 소식일 것 같아요. Sprout up in Mexico라는 표현이 쓰였거든요.
Yep, that's right. So these communities will be, or already have started to, sprout up in Mexico. Okay, so you have a seed, right? And you put the seed in the soil, and then you put the water on the soil. And then what happens in a few days or a couple of weeks?
It sprouts up.
It sprouts up. So it suddenly appears. And that's what sprout up means. So these homes in this community, they just suddenly appeared like a plant growing out of the ground. They
맞아요.
sprouted up.
네, 싹 트는 것을 우리가 보통 sprout up라고 하는데요. 그래서 여기저기서 뭔가 많이 생겨나다라는 의미로 일상생활에서 쓸 수 있는 표현입니다. 여기서는 멕시코에서 이렇게 3D 지역사회들이 여기저기서 많이 나타나고 있다. 이렇게 볼 수 있을 것 같아요.
I also didn't know that there was a town called Tabasco.
Yeah, right?
I thought it was just the sauce.
I thought it was a misprint as well, but I guess it must have come from here.
It must, right? Anyway, this area where they are building these homes, this area is located in a seismic zone and it's prone to flooding. So if something is prone to, it means it's likely to suffer from or experience something negative. An easy example, babies, they are easy to get sick, right? Easy to catch a cold. Babies are prone to sickness.
그렇죠. 뭐뭐 하는 경향이 있다라는 뜻의 prone to까지 살펴봤습니다. 자, 그러면 이번 소식도 한 번 더 들어볼게요.
A 3D printed community is sprouting up in Mexico, part of a project working to end global homelessness. New Story, which builds shelter for families in need, says that after 18 months of planning, 2 homes have been completed. The nonprofit has plans to build 50 500-square-foot 3D homes in Tabasco, Mexico, which is located in a seismic zone and prone to flooding. The 3D printed homes have 2 bedrooms, a living room, kitchen, and bath. Each of the 2 homes that have been built took 24 hours to print.
It's time to check the answer to the quiz. What shouldn't you enjoy cold?
I think it's 갈비탕.
네, 갈비탕 차갑게 드시면은 안 될 것 같아요, 그렇죠?
That wouldn't be very good. I mean, you could, but I don't think it would be very good, right?
그렇습니다. 아이스크림과 오렌지 주스는 시원하게 드시는 게 좋죠. 그래서 2번 갈비탕이 정답이고요. 이경구님, 9026님, 그리고 쫑쫑이님, 백혜성님, 민미경입니다. 라는 아이디 쓰시는 분 뉴욕타임즈 1개월 구독권 보내드리겠습니다. 쫑쫑이님이요. 아무리 얼어 죽어도 냉갈비탕은 아닌 것 같아요. 크크크 이렇게 보내주셨습니다. One of the acronyms or shortened terms I talked about in the start of the show today was 얼죽아. 얼어 죽어도 아이스 음료를 마신다. No matter what, I'm always going to have a cold drink.
Yeah, right.
That refers to some people, but in this case, this person says, I will never have cold 갈비탕.
Probably not. It would have to be about 75 degrees Celsius outside.
Indeed. All right. So, Steve, what is your expression of the day?
Well, I talked about the Vietnam trip. I did not talk about how I started the trip to Vietnam. That was the U2 concert.
Yeah.
Right? And I have some pictures from the U2 concert. The screen was the most amazing part of it.
Wow.
And at one point in the show, if you're watching Poinon Radio right now, they put up the Korean flag there. Another cool picture that they had was from the red and the yellow combination for the Joshua tree.
Yeah.
And they just used it so cool. And I think for a lot of people, watching that show would prompt them to buy U2's music.
Prompt someone to do something.
Yeah. So if you went to the show and you thought, oh, I don't know about this band, right? And I know some people who didn't know about U2, but they went to the concert. And I think after watching the concert, that would really prompt them to look up information on the internet or prompt them to download their music and buy their music or prompt them to go see their show again.
맞아요. 지금 보면은 휴대폰을 들고 있는 사람들의 손이 무수히 많이 보입니다. 이 사진에. 이 사진만 봐도 U2 음악 나도 한번 사서 들어보고 싶다라는 생각이 들거든요. It's prompting me to go and buy some U2 songs.
That screen prompted people to take photos and videos during the whole concert, which is super annoying. Please don't do that. But that being said, I was one of those people at that time, so I cannot really complain.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Steve.
It was great to see you again, Sue. Thank you very much for having me. Have a good Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Now, coming up in the second hour, we have Say What and also books with Paul Matthews. Taking us there now is The Water Boys, The Hall of the Moon.